Now, Fifth, when you continuously call Puff gay, does that affect your relationships in Hollywood?
I don't call him gay. I said.
Let me read it, Fifth.
Oh my God.
Sorry I can no longer help you guys. Soon you will all be gay and happy. You are all now left under leadership of Puffy Daddy. Report to the nearest rainbow. Dinner Thieves in theaters January 9th.
That's why he says things. He doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity. You know what I'm saying? Like he says something fabulous and he goes, "Yo, but me and you, we ain't party. Like we need to party." What is he talking about?
Incense is going off.
When people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable. Like he said something to me one time, a long time ago, at Chris Lighty's wedding. He told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what'd you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You're gonna make me mess up the wedding.
Oh, that's a nice gesture.
Let me get out of no, dude, take me. That's what a guy says.
All these years, you being the only one calling this out.
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long time.
They said you're a hater. They said you're crazy.
You do this, and now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. This all this shit is coming.
50, you can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might come for you, bro.
All I'm saying
it might come for you.
You see it now. All of these complaints. People were damn. They were and pillaged. This was what was going on, right? And what do I get for I went through years of a hater. You're a hater. You want this and that. I'm just watching. Like I look at things and go, when you see the new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay, I go, oh shoot, like. Then I think about it, I go, that had to be there. So when I was saying that he was missing, he just wasn't actively being out there because they was dealing with that.
Wait, do you think there's truth to the Jay thing? There's no way.
Like that. Look, you know what's like if you say, I have this thing where I'm conflicted when it takes you 20 years to remember something happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I go also 10 years, 20 years later, that comes back, and it's like all of Puff's problems are coming from the ministers touching little boys.
What you mean?
The laws are the way they are because
because
of the priests.
The priests touching little boys.
Yeah. Oh, how much is this guy trying to get?
I don't know. Like it's a simple suit situation, but it's like
20 mil. I can say it.
You still have to black his face out. You still have to mimic his voice because he's like.
But his voice wasn't even that different.
And a little deeper. I was like almost like, no, that's you, young buck.
Yo,
I almost felt like it was him. I almost knew who it was. You know what I mean? I was like, nah. You heard what he just said, right? He's like, yo, certain things they let it go by because it's Puff. Like they would look, like he would say stuff, and it's like he wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway. Now you see so much shit that you go, wait. No, this was visible, guys.
He was in the hallway. We saw the video.
We saw that video. It comes out later. You're like, that's not the closet. That's the hallway. He didn't give a fuck. Like you could tell that he was already.
Nah, New York is dope. Because when Fab, he was like, "Yo, Fab, we ain't party." Fab was like, "Nah, we partying tonight."
He's like, no, like, but he didn't party.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, they let that one go. Like, I had to say something about it later because
In a courtroom packed with tension, 50 Cent took the stand, revealing shocking details about Diddy's alleged misconduct. His testimony didn't just name names, it shook the very foundations of the music industry. The courtroom was electric as 50 Cent, known for his fearless demeanor, began his testimony in the high-profile trial against Sean Diddy Combs. For years, 50 Cent had hinted at Diddy's questionable behavior through social media jabs and interviews. But now, under oath, he was ready to lay it all bare. He started by discussing the infamous Flavor Camp, where a young Usher reportedly lived with Diddy. 50 Cent questioned the appropriateness of a teenage boy residing with an adult man in the music industry, suggesting that this arrangement was part of a broader pattern of grooming young talent. The testimony then shifted to Justin Bieber, who, as a teenager, was closely associated with Diddy. 50 Cent recounted industry whispers about Bieber's exposure to adult situations during his time with Diddy, raising concerns about the environment the young pop star was placed in. Fabulous was another name brought up. 50 Cent...
by what I was offended by.
Wow, they found Kendrick and Whiteface.
That's obviously doing chopping. They got the same outfit.
Yeah, it's
wore
true.
it in public.
Yeah,
That's a nice shirt. Though. It's a
crazy.
nice shirt. All right, so when he said the shopping line in real life, what did you say?
I said, let me get away from him. Because it was like, he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we got to hang out now. Like, you know, like hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, maybe I'll take you shopping and I get you some flash and you could give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm gonna mess up the wedding. I always say to myself, like,
It was someone's wedding?
it was Chris Lighty's wedding. It was in Miami. Nori's there. Nori knows this because I looked at him like, yo.
Described an incident during a Drink Champs interview where Diddy made Fabulous visibly uncomfortable with suggestive remarks. He also recalled a private event where Diddy allegedly pressured Fabulous into staying late, insinuating ulterior motives. The list continued with YK Osiris, a young artist who experienced a rapid rise and fall in the industry. 50 Cent suggested that Diddy's influence played a role in Osiris's career trajectory, hinting at manipulation and control behind the scenes. Perhaps the most startling revelation was about a former reality TV star turned convicted killer, Ash Armand. 50 Cent testified that Armand was among the male escorts allegedly hired by Diddy for freak-off parties, events characterized by drug use and coerced sexual activities. This claim was corroborated by other testimonies during the trial. Throughout his testimony, 50 Cent emphasized that the issue wasn't about consensual adult relationships, but about the abuse of power and the exploitation of young artists. He painted a picture of an industry where silence was bought and careers were manipulated to serve the interests of those at the top. As the courtroom absorbed these revelations, the implications were clear.
I feel like all these years, you've been the only one calling this out.
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long
They
time.
say you're a hater. They say
You're a
you're
hater.
crazy.
You do this. Yeah, and now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. There's all this is coming. You see it now. All of these complaints. People were damned. They were and pillaged. This was what was going on.
What you gonna say to him?
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami. Something huge coming up, which is a documentary about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know
He did it.
you've been heavy on social
No, he
media
did it.
talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy. I mean,
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to this party.
The music industry's dark underbelly was being exposed, and the ripple effects would be felt far beyond the confines of the trial. After dropping names like Usher, Justin Bieber, Fabulous, and YK Osiris, 50 Cent paused, and then stunned the courtroom with even more. He mentioned comedian Kevin Hart, referencing a live stream where Diddy joked about sleeping in the same bed as Usher. Kevin's reaction wasn't just awkward, it was telling. That wasn't laughter, 50 said. That was fear. He accused Diddy of deliberately isolating young talent by throwing extravagant parties with strict no-security policies, confiscated phones, and NDA agreements. Guests weren't just partying, they were entering a world where Diddy controlled everything. Then came perhaps the most chilling moment. Reached into his jacket, pulled out a folded piece of paper, and called it the list. He read the names slowly: Usher, YK Osiris, Justin Bieber, Ja Rule, Bow Wow, Trey Songz, Kevin Hart, Fabulous, and then added, some I won't name, yet. He explained that not all were victims. Some were collaborators, enablers, people who helped Diddy build and protect his empire of silence. The courtroom was speechless as 50 wrapped up with this. This ain't about clout. This is about cleaning house. Fallout came fast. PR teams scrambled, celebrities purged their social media, lawyers sent cease and desist letters, and behind the scenes, subpoenas loomed over more big names. In an Instagram post the next morning, 50 stood outside the courthouse, captioned simply, "More names coming soon." The silence that once protected the powerful was cracking, and for the first time, the game might really be as media frenzy exploded. What 50 Cent started inside that courtroom spilled into every corner of the entertainment industry. TV anchors danced around the details, but fans weren't pulling punches. Online forums became war rooms, dissecting every old clip, every awkward laugh, every strange coincidence involving Diddy and the people on that list. Usher canceled an appearance. Kevin Hart postponed shows. Fabulous disabled his Instagram comments. The industry wasn't just reacting, it was unraveling, changing.
Comfortable, like he said something to me one time, a long time ago, at Chris Lighty's wedding. He told me to take me shopping. I looked at him like, what you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You gonna make me mess up the wedding.
Oh, that's a nice gesture.
Let me get out. No, dude, you take me. That's what a guy says to a girl.
But you've been getting out for over a decade. I asked 50 about that, and he said you did the same thing to him. You asked him to take him shopping.
Yeah, I thought he needed some clothes. What? I'm a nice guy.
Yo, why are you in 50?
Hey, yo.
Reporters uncovered NDAs that went beyond standard contracts. Some included clauses forbidding attendees from ever disclosing what they saw or experienced at certain private events. This wasn't about protection. This was about silence. And yet, silence was the one thing 50 Cent had finally broken. In a later interview, when asked what pushed him to finally speak, 50 said, "Because too many of us are scared, and scared people stay quiet while monsters build kingdoms." He promised there was more to come, more names, more stories, more receipts. And whether the industry was ready or not, Pandora's box was already open. The trial wasn't just about justice, it was about exposing a legacy built on fear. And thanks to 50 Cent, the world was finally listening. In the days following 50 Cent's bombshell testimony, the ripple effects were seismic. Multiple insiders began reaching out to journalists, some anonymously, others with legal counsel, ready to talk. Former assistants, bodyguards, even stylists described a culture of secrecy, manipulation, and fear. One ex-employee described special rooms at Diddy's mansion, no phones allowed, cameras disabled. Another shared details about luxury trips where young artists were invited but never returned the same. And one chilling detail kept recurring: gifts that came with invisible strings. Behind the scenes, the legal floodgates were opening, subpoenas were issued, depositions scheduled, and Diddy's legal team began working overtime to contain the fallout microscope anymore. 50 Cent's list had shaken the tree, and now other branches were bending. The industry's most untouchable names were now under public suspicion. Through it all, 50 Cent stayed vocal. Every time a critic tried to discredit him, he fired back with another piece of truth. "This ain't defamation," he said in one live stream. "This is documentation."
The courtroom as Cassie was testifying, so let me tell you guys everything that you didn't see or may have not heard, because it's a lot. I will say the most damning part of her testimony for me is when she describes a freak-off where Diddy and another man, an escort, are standing on top of her while she is laying on the floor high off of ecstasy, and they are on her face to the point where she is choking on their pee. And to further give context, on the right-hand side of the court seated is her husband, Alex Fine. On the left-hand side, Diddy's 6 out of 7 kids.
And while Diddy remained mostly silent, the silence spoke volumes. No denials, no press tours, just lawyers, private flights, and disappearing posts. The case is far from over. But one thing's for sure, 50 Cent didn't just testify. He lit a fuse. In the weeks that followed, the entertainment industry was forced to look itself in the mirror. Award shows were eerily quiet. Collaborations were pulled, and longtime allies of Diddy either disappeared from the spotlight or suddenly had nothing to say. Sponsors cut ties. Streaming platforms paused campaigns involving bad boy-affiliated artists. Even late-night hosts, usually quick to joke about celebrity drama, chose silence. Because this wasn't gossip anymore. This was exposure. For younger artists, the message was loud and clear. The era of untouchable moguls might finally be coming to an end. The old system, where power excused anything, was crumbling. And 50 Cent? He didn't fade away. He doubled down. He teased a docuseries. He hinted at releasing a book. And he promised this: "I got more names, more facts, and more voices ready to speak. We just getting started." What started as whispers had become a roar. And whether the world liked it or not, the truth had entered the room, and it wasn't leaving quietly.